Okay. Ah, boy. Okay. Thank you to the New York film critics, to Michael Barker and Tom Bernard at Sony Picture Classics for believing in this film. But most of all, thank you to Luca Guadagnino, who just gave this speech. And Luca, it's been difficult for me to put into words how grateful I am. And this means very little coming from a 22-year-old, but you are truly a genius. And I don't know how an established auteur like yourself took a chance on someone with very little street cred like me, but I will eternally be grateful. And you're making my life right now, seriously. You know, I used to think when I was like 35 or 40, I'd have a wife and kids, and I could have a family life, and now I know I'll be in front of a TV, watching Call Me By Your Name with a glass of whiskey, thinking, those were the glory years, those were the glory days, you know? It's also cool to follow up Tiffany. Tiffany, you know grapefruits very well, I know peaches. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. And okay, and I'm acting like I'm not hearing you. I'm hearing everything you're saying. Okay. Okay. No, don't do that bit. I know that bit. Okay. And Armie Hammer, who's here tonight. Armie, thank you so much, man. Yes. I'm sure Saoirse can attest to this as well, but being a young actor, you're opposite older actors in scenes that are often very well established, have, big names to themselves. And I was the luckiest kid in the world to be there with Armie, because you are extremely talented, you're kind, your spirit is generous, and you haven't gotten sick of me yet. So, and seriously, you're a big brother to me, man. I love you. Seriously. Okay. We were on a plane 12 hours ago, me and Armie. I'm a nervous flyer, and every time there was turbulence, I would turn to him, and he'd look at me, and he'd go, "We're gonna crash." This award means the world to me because, as Luca alluded to, I'm a fourth-generation New Yorker. My grandmother was born on 163rd Street in Grand Concourse in the Bronx on January 2nd, 1927, had a long Broadway dance career that included shows like Kiss Me Kate and It's a Wonderful Town. When my mom, and Enid's daughter, was 7 years old, she was enlisted in the School of American Ballet before attending the Performing Arts High School on 48th Street in Broadway. Some 30 years later, when my sister was born, who's right there, she too, yes, she too was enlisted in the School of American Ballet and later attended Performing Arts High School as well, which was now called LaGuardia, and where I went to for high school. Yeah, okay, LaGuardia in the house, okay. I spent the ages of 8 to 12 backstage at the New York State Theater. I refuse to call it the Coke Theater. Yeah. As my sister would perform in the Nutcracker. I would roam the backstage hallways, a bit aimless, but with no shortage of costumes and rehearsal studios to entertain myself in. When I was 12 years old, after attending one of my sister Pauline's performances, I petitioned my mom and grandma to see Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight with me. We went to AMC Empire 25 in Times Square for a 7:30 screening. And I left that theater a changed man. And I'm serious about that. Heath Ledger's performance in that film was visceral and viral to me, and I now had the acting bug. I didn't know that around that time, Mr. Ledger was accepting the award for Best Actor at the New York Film Critics Circle for Brokeback Mountain. I didn't know that a brilliant director halfway across the world named Luca Guadagnino was beginning pre-production on a film called I Am Love. I didn't know that Michael Stuhlbarg was wowing audiences in The Pillow Man on Broadway. I didn't know that a nervous Armie Hammer was getting prepared to audition for David Fincher in The Social Network. I did not know that a genius author named Andre Osman was in a small apartment on the Upper West Side putting the finishing touches on a book called Call Me By Your Name. And there was certainly no idea that I would get to collaborate with all these incredible artists some 8 years later in Northern Italy for 3 months. an immersive acting experience I will use as a model to prepare for all my future roles. And I mean that, Luca. I accept this award with all the gratitude I'm capable of. Thank you to the New York Film Critics Circle. Thank you to New York. And thank you to Greta Gerwig and Saoirse Ronan as well for letting me tag along in Lady Bird. Greta, I was in a bar last week and someone said, "Hey, isn't that the douchebag from Lady Bird?" So, yeah. So, anyway, thank you. Peace and love. Thank you.
So, I thought that Armie Hammer was going to come up with Luca, but I guess not. Won't hold him against him because he's a really nice guy and he's amazing in the movie. And he's here, which is awesome anyway.